Shabbat Perek Yud Bet Mishnah Hey. We're going to continue to discuss the halachot of ktiva, of writing. Says the Mishnah, Katab b'mashkin. Let's say I wrote with liquid. So I've got water here, right? And I take my trusty, I'm going to close the pen, and if I want to, I can, you can't really see it now, but if you look at it from the side, anybody can do this, you can write with a drink. Or let's say it's like a little bit of colored liquid, or b'mei perot, fruit juice, avak be'avak drachim, with road dust, be'avak hasofrim, with scribe dust. And that's scribe, so the Bartenura says, afrurit, the dust of the keset hasofer, the inkwell of the sofer. So it's like you used a little bit of dust. All the things are things that are eno mitkayem, then you're patur, then you're exempt. I know for a fact that Machon Somet, they developed on Shabbat, they don't use this anymore, but they now use computers, so therefore it's easier. But they developed, for Shabbat, for doctors that had to write, they developed a special writing ink, that the ink would disappear after 24 hours. And since it was a davar she'eno mitkayem, therefore, you were not chayav, and for a doctor who had to write, Machon Somet felt that was a good halachic option. Here we are, you can actually have it here, it's called the Shabbat, an eight on Shabbat, a Shabbat pen. I'll just play you there, they have a nifty little video. You can look at here's their website if you really want to look it up. So here's what they say, and you can watch their website, I think you can see it. For the purpose of Shabbat, they say, for the purposes of refu'ar, bitachon, security, you can write with the Shabbat 8, and after 3 days, look, the ink disappears, because it's considered, that's exactly what it's based on. Now it's based on our Mishnah, Kol davar she'enu mitkayem patur. I want to just point out, Machon Somet is a very interesting place that has a lot of interesting p'skei halacha. I neither endorse nor disagree, or am I to disagree with Rav Rosette. Lachar yado, if you want to write lachar yado, you want to write backwards. You're holding the pen and you're writing backwards with the pen. Or viraglo, if you're very good and you can hold the pen with your foot. But piv, you're holding it in your mouth and you write. Mar peko, you want to put the pen in here and you're going to write, okay? Or katav ot achat samuch lichtav. I have a letter. I'm not writing 2 letters. You can see on this I have 1 letter. And then I write another letter next to that letter. So therefore, you can see or, right? So therefore, I didn't write 2 letters, but the second letter made the first letter into a word. Or, ktav al gabe ktav, if I have a letter, and the letter is either not, it's weak or it's not weak, and then I write it again, to make it ktav al gabe ktav, to make it much more bolet, to make it much more strong. Nitkaven lichtov chet. I want to write a chet, but instead I wrote 2 zayins. I'll show you what I mean. I happen to have a stam font, a font that's about the letters in the Torah. So if I want to write chet or chatum, this is how we're read in the Torah, or zot chukat Torah. Now look at the chet carefully. If you see the way the chet is written on this font, the way it appears in the Torah, it's really 2 zayins with a chupchik, with a connecting line. So the Mishnah says, if I intended to write a chet and I ended up with 2 zayins, I wrote the 2 zayins and I never wrote the chupchik. So I really intended to write 1 letter, but in the end I ended up writing 2 letters. And it just so happens that those 2 letters, if I write zaz, zayin, zaz means lazuz, to move. So therefore I ended up writing a word. So in that case also, echad ba'aretz ve'echad b'kara. 1, I wrote 1 letter on the ground, 1 on the ceiling. Or, katav al shnei ktalei habayit. If I write on 2 walls of the house. Or, al shnei dapei pinkas, 2 pages of the notebook, and in either case, the eined, gin, zaim, zeh, they cannot be read one with the other. They're just 2 separate letters. In each of those cases, all of them, I'm patur. Because in each case, I never really did a full writing of 2 letters. Katav ot achat no triko. Let's say I wrote 1 letter, but it represented something. Rav. That represented Rav, because sometimes people write Rav Yehuda, and everybody knows that the R is Rav. Excuse me. Rabbi Yeshua ben Betera Mechayev, Rabbi Yeshua ben Betera, since the R represents something, since it seems to represent something, you're chayav. Chachamim say no, in the end all you did was write 1 letter, therefore you're not chayav in that case. We'll stop here. If you have any comments or questions, as always, I always like getting nice notes, rspolter@gmail.com. And we'll dedicate the learning to the memory of my father, Rav Simcha ben Yitzchak Kalman. Have a great day.